Alright guys, it's Chatterbox Reviews, and welcome to this week's Let's Talk Television. Alright, so we're here with episode 4 of Let's Talk Television, week number 4. So, yeah, I'm really enjoying this series so far. I hope you guys are too. I'm having a lot of fun, planning these out. I even got a few after this, planned out for the weeks to come. And, yeah, I'm really enjoying, the discussion that is taking place here. The comments I'm getting, the likes, and, people just sharing their opinions on the topic as well. I really enjoy that. I really appreciate that. So, yeah, that's really great. And to kind of generalize things a little bit more is the channel has been doing really well with the support and stuff. So honestly, I think I've been getting I've been getting a lot of subscribers. I think almost 18. I think we were at 18 in the last 2 weeks, which is crazy for my channel. So to think that I was, somewhere in 60 before, and then, 2 weeks later, now I'm at, I think I'm almost at 90. So yeah, I'm really appreciative of that. Can't thank you guys enough for that. A lot of, new people coming on the channel, looking for reviews. So yeah, for sure, I'm going to, keep doing them, of course. Try to keep with my schedule. That's one thing I'm trying to improve on in the future, is just keeping with my schedule, and getting the reviews out, in a reasonable time. Lately, or not lately, but, in past, I've had some troubles with that, just because I either, kind of forget to see it live, and then I have to go through and try to, find my recording of it, or if I don't have a recording of it, try to see it. So anyways, I'm getting better with that. I'm recording more shows, and my DVR is gonna blow up soon. But anyways, with all the shows on there, I don't know how it has enough storage, to be honest. But anyways, somehow it's still intact. But anyways, so yeah, I'm really pushing for that, and I just really appreciate all the support I'm getting. We're growing a lot, so I really I really can't thank you guys enough. So thank you for that, and also the support I've been getting on this series as well. I really appreciate that. And yeah, like I said, I'm having a lot of fun with this one, and I'm really looking forward to what's to come for this series, right? I really want to make it bigger and better, right, as we go on. And really, I'm getting a lot of ideas lately for it as well, so I might be changing it up in the next few weeks as well, adding some new things, maybe taking something out, who knows, right? So just, overall improvements of the show each week. So yeah, I'm really excited for that. But anyways, this week, as you can see from the title, I will be talking about The Terror, and in specific, why it is cable's best new drama series, or at least, that's my opinion. So yeah, I'll be talking about that, and then of course after that, main discussion portion of the episode this week, I'll get to my something I like, something I don't like segment, right? And then after that, I'll get to question and answer segment as well. So yeah, anyways, let's get into the main topic for today, which is The Terror. So I first want to start off with the Terror reviews on the channel are doing amazingly. I'm really thankful for that again. I'm very thankful about a lot of things right now. So I just want to express that. But anyways, yeah, the Terror reviews have been doing really well. I've gotten a lot of comments about that, even some critiques of my reviews, and I really appreciate that, because if I'm never getting those, you really don't know the points to improve on. So I'm really, taking those to heart, and trying to improve on those things that some people have said. So I really appreciate that. And then a lot of people just commenting, and they say, oh yeah, I agree with you. Maybe I disagree here. Well, here's why, right? I love that, those kind of comments. Even if you don't agree with me, it doesn't mean you can't comment, right? Or you can't, like the review. Everyone has their own opinion, right? Especially with TV shows and movies. They're so subjective that, someone can hate it, could absolutely hate it, never want to see it again. And some person could say, oh, well, that's my favorite new TV show, right? So it's really subjective, and that's what I love about TV and television and movies. It's really awesome. So anyways, yeah, The Terror, I think, is cable's best new drama series. Now, best new drama series, for the spring, pretty much, spring TV. I do like The Crossing, but after seeing episode 2, seeing it fall down a little bit from the pilot, although I do think it has some great potential, I don't think The Crossing is quite there. It's quite on par with The Terror, but we have to take into consideration as well it's on a network, channel. Of course, ABC. Terror's on AMC. It's a little bit different, right? So there are some big differences there, so you can't really fully compare them. But to me, those are kind of my two front runners. I know I haven't seen Barry. I haven't seen some of the other bigger ones that are new this spring. And a lot of those are coming up, like Westworld season 2. I know it's not new, but it technically is, right? Because it's kind of an anthology series, right? Westworld. So anyways, so there will be some maybe better ones, but to me those are the two frontrunners right now. But the Terror is better. At the end of the day, it is a better series, and it is the best new drama series in my opinion. So first off, the performances by the cast. I mean, it is unbelievable so far. And I do want to say this at the beginning as well. Sorry. I've only seen 4 episodes. So with this show, I've decided that I'm going to be watching it week to week, as AMC, broadcasts it. I know that the whole series is available on AMC Premiere. So a lot of people, actually, I've seen, surprisingly, I didn't know that this many people would have, but a lot of people have seen the whole series already, the whole season, all 10 episodes, and are like commenting stuff, and I'm, kind of getting pissed off, to be honest, with all these spoilers I'm seeing. I'm like, okay, but a lot of people apparently have seen the whole series. But to me personally, especially, making reviews each week, it's really easier to just watch it as it broadcasts, and I know a lot of people are still doing that. Probably the majority are still doing that. So anyways, I have only seen up to episode 4, so when I'm talking about it, maybe you're saying, oh well, in episode 9 this happens. I haven't seen that yet, right? So so for sure, comment that, let me know for sure. Try to avoid spoilers, but I'm okay with spoilers. It happens. But yeah, so, still comment that, but I just want to let, people know that I have only seen up to episode 4. I'm only up to date with, with what is out on AMC, the channel, right? The AMC Premiere, of course, has all 10 episodes. But anyways, performances by Jared Harris, Tobias Menzies, and I was told it's Kieran Hins, apparently, so I was pronouncing it totally wrong. Not a big surprise there, but anyways, it's Kieran Hins, plays Sir John, of course, and others, right? I made this point in one of the reviews, I think it was 2 weeks ago in episode 3, I said, this cast is blowing me away. It's not just the big 3, the main guys, the A-listers per se, right? It's not just them. It's the whole cast. I mean, it's crazy, You see a guy on screen for, 5 minutes an episode, and he is just as good as the main actors, which you don't get very often, right? With TV shows, that's not, that's not very common, I would say, at least, for the TV shows I've watched. I mean, if you have a minor character in there, it's bound to not be, that good. That actor's not, as good as the rest of them. But honestly, I really think that the whole cast is doing an amazing job of this. And like I said, Jared Harris, and Kieran Hins, Tobias Menzies, they're definitely the standouts. But for good reason, right? They're the 3, biggest characters. They have the most lines, the most screen time, right? So you're going to see them the most, and they're really, really doing a good job. So the performances is honestly what carries this show, I would say, so far, among other things. But I would say one of the main, positives of the show is the acting. I mean, if the acting is off for a show like this, and it's not as believable that, they're in the Arctic, they're going through all this, maybe it's not that good of a, it's not as good as of a show, because you're really, not empathizing with them. You're not feeling, what the situation is. And that's an important part of the show, is to know the situation they're in. So really, really great job there. The performance is definitely one of the best things so far. And it also is bringing a very mysterious yet intriguing story to life, right? Or, to screen, right? Because there was a book, of course, made by Dan Simmons, who originally came up with this, right? The series is based off the book, but also based off, I would say, facts and details of the real, story, of course, because this is a real, right? This is based on a true story. So yeah, I thought that this is, a lot of shows out there now are, sci-fi, fantasy, just, 100% fiction, right? They're all made up, the writers come up with a story and all that stuff. But, and then even you get some shows that are based off a true story where it's like, oh, well, that's interesting that happened. Okay. But this true story is truly an intriguing story. I mean, the fact that they actually still really haven't found many, much proof and many, facts and actual physical evidence, of this whole expedition and what happened is crazy, right? That's mysterious in itself. So it's a very intriguing story, very interesting, and for the writers to be able to, make it into a 10 episode, season or series now, is crazy. So I really feel like they got that on their side as well, is this story that a lot of people are interested in. Honestly, I think even before this, show started, a lot of people are interested in this type of story. So really awesome there, and I feel like that's and that's an important thing too. The concept of a show, right? With The Crossing, for example, the new one on ABC, of course. That one, I mean, the concept for it has a lot of potential. I mean, that's a really crazy concept. And this one is too. I mean, there's a lot of possibilities for this, within, certain boundaries though, right? So, I really think it's a very interesting story, and it's going to be interesting how they play it out. Are they going to, I discussed this with one of the viewers in the comment section, I think on one of the reviews. I think it may have been episode 2 or 3. And I think, I said to her, I said, are they gonna follow the book, or do you think they're gonna dramatize this series a little bit more? So yeah, it's a very interesting point to make there, right? Are they gonna stick to the book? Are they gonna stick to the story, or are they gonna take some liberties here and make it a little bit more entertaining, while sacrificing a little bit of the truth, right? So it'll be interesting to see. Some shows decide to do that. Some shows decide to just stick with the facts and roll with that. So it'll be interesting down the stretch here to see what they decide. So I'd say also with this show, it shows important themes. And with a show like this, being a a history show based on a true story, it's not as easy as like I said, in 100% fiction TV show that's writing in these kind of themes and these storylines. Well, it's not that hard to do, but with a show like this, they really have to focus on facts and details and the and the people and all this stuff in the actual stories. It's a little bit harder to do, but I feel like they're doing it very well. For example, the men's view of the Aboriginal, or they refer to them in the show, of course, as Eskimo, the Aboriginal peoples, right? That is a big theme in this so far, and I feel like already we have seen the consequences of this, right? And I'm not gonna talk a lot about spoilers in this one, so I'm not gonna refer to the big things in this, but anyways, we have seen the consequences. I'll just say that, right? Of what what this view and what this lack of respect, pretty much, of these people can have, right? What are the consequences of that? And obviously, in today's world, obviously, we have a different opinion, a different view as they did back then. Of course, times change, but I still think it's a very important theme. To think about it, and they really, I wouldn't say emphasize it, but they do really, refer to it quite often, and it does play an important role in the show. So, and I think it plays an important role in the book too, right? You got to give, credit to the author of the book as well, right, in this, but, for sure, the show doing a really great job of that as well. And also homosexuality, right? One of the main characters, Hickey, is homosexual, or at least has taken part in homosexual acts, right, on the ship, which is a pretty big deal for back then, right? So they're tackling that kind of issue too, and kind of the in the closet sort of thing, right? And sacrificing what their morals are, for the betterment of their reputation to the rest of the crew and all that stuff. So they're really tackling important issues here and themes that matter a lot, I think, in today's world, right? And they're doing it, in a history-based true story, type of story. So yeah, really great job there, and I think that's another reason why it's such a good series now. And the best new drama series is the way that they're able to tackle these things and really show that, and I wouldn't say emphasize, because I think the show's about a bigger type of story, right? The whole horror aspect, which is not doesn't really play into these themes, but don't get me wrong, they are still really apparent, and really noticeable, and I think they do a great job. So that's another thing. Visuals. I mean, sometimes you get shows that are like this. They have a good story. The acting's all there. And then the visuals are like, well, that does that really look like, what would be happening there? And this one, I think they're done to perfection. I think they're really awesome. Everything looks really great, and it demonstrates how it would feel to be where they are, which is, like I said, a very important thing of this show. I mean, if that's really not apparent, the whole horror aspect and the scare factor is really not, it's not as good, not as bad. So yeah, I really think that the visuals for this one are awesome. Just the way all the characters look at these times, like they all look, really shook, really shooken up, shaken up, and always, in distress and everything. And then also like the snow conditions, the cold, you always see, them all, covered in snow or something like that, or at least, it's snowing and you see the ice and everything. So, and the, one of the favorite, or one of the best visuals to me, or one of my favorites that I've seen in the show so far, is I think it was in episode 2, where they had a huge, like a bird's eye view, perspective on the two ships that are just caught in this snow and ice, and the valley just extends, for miles and miles and miles, and they were able to, take a visual and actually like show that. And I thought that was one of the best visuals I've seen in a TV show. Like, I thought that was really impressive, the way that looked and how well it looked, how good it was. So really impressive there, the way that they've been able to do that. And I've seen some behind the scenes, kind of pictures and videos, and it's literally like they are in a studio filming this show, and it's literally just, they're basically in a box of green screen, right? Like everything around them is green screen. The ground is green as well. The ceiling is green, as of course. So they're basically in this green box, and then of course they have like the ship in there, and they're just kind of standing there. Like that's how they filmed the show. And then we see what we see. So it's pretty crazy to actually, see the behind the scenes and then see the final product, and how much work that actually takes, to really, show the effects and all that, to get to the final product. So really great stuff there. The visuals are awesome. And of course, this is based on history, right? A lot of people interested in history and stories like this, this one, of course, great history to Britain, I would say, right? And Europe in general, right? Because they were trying to be kind of the first ones to find this passage, right? And of course, it went very wrong. So anyways, I just feel like that history aspect will, of course, get some viewers, right, that are interested in history, and, especially historians, right, are gonna, take a look at it and, pick the hell out of it, right, and make sure, that this is right, and, this is the right year for this and all this stuff. So, you know how that is. But anyways, that, of course, attracted a lot of people, and I think that's a real, positive thing. I mean, that's just kind of like sci-fi, right? Everyone loves sci-fi, but a lot of people like history and like learning about that stuff. So really feel like that's another draw there. And this is one of my biggest points about this as well. AMC is showing no limits, and I mean no limits, to the gore and horror so far, and that's exactly what this show needs. So, I mean, we've seen a body cut in half, and, like, I mean, we've seen it. And then we see, a man's body after he died. We see the doctor, like, cutting him open and taking out his guts. We see that whole thing, right? Like, it's not an off-camera thing. We see it. And just really, gory things. We see a guy, amputated basically by, of course, a claw. And yeah, so we've just seen really gory things, really horrific things so far. And AMC is not holding back. And that's awesome. They have shown some restraint with The Walking Dead in the past, right? Walking Dead has been kind of criticized for that, being a little bit too gory maybe. So they've kind of, taken it back, kind of shown restraint a little bit with The Walking Dead. But this one, it doesn't look like they're doing that at all. They're really going out, because without this gore and horror, without us actually seeing it, okay, have a couple, characters talk about it. Okay, well, that's not bringing the same horror and scare factor that you're going to get if we actually see a guy cut in half. You know what I mean? So AMC is doing a really great job in regards to that. And I really applaud them for that, because I've kind of been a little bit kind of irritated with them for doing that to Walking Dead, and kind of, I wouldn't say it lessens the show or makes it worse, but it just doesn't make it better. You know what I mean? So I really, really applaud AMC for going all in with this one and really just letting it play out, right? We get to see everything. I mean, if you want to look away, you can, right? And that's kind of the way they're playing it. So I really, really appreciate that. And I think that's really exactly what this show needs. Without that, I don't know. I don't know if this show has the same, kind of scare factor, same quality, right? And not many horror TV shows on right now, right? I mean, there's not that many. American Horror Story, The Walking Dead, Game of Thrones, right? And outside of those, like, are there really any other big ones on right now? Not really, right? I mean, I did some research about this one, and those are really the only big ones that are out right now. You could argue the Preacher on AMC as well is kind of a horror, but at times that's kind of a comedy as well. So yeah, really, there's not many out right now, and I'd say this is one of the only successful ones that's out right now, and I mean really successful, right? So I mean, people who are into horror, there's not enough movies that come out in the year to kind of satisfy that, and obviously they're going to look to TV shows, and there's not that many horror TV shows, and not many channels that will actually, like I said, kind of just go in, no limitations on it, and just show it, right? Just go out and do it. And AMC's doing that with this show, and that's what makes this show such a good horror genre, right? Such a good depiction of the horror and the scare factor. So that's really great. And I think, being one of the only ones of a genre, that's obviously going to get you a lot of viewers. So that's another positive as well. And of course, I just want to touch on this as well. An anthology series, right? There's a possibility. The creators have talked about that there may be future seasons of the show, but it's not going to be this story. So pretty much this story is going to be told in one season, but will we see another season, following another, sort of story like this, maybe in the Arctic, another, quest for the passage, something like that, right? That'll be very interesting to see. I mean, if it is an anthology series, those have done pretty well in the past. I mean, you have Fargo, and other shows like that. The Sinner, they were talking about that too, so we're not sure still if that's going to happen. But very interesting, right? I mean, this becomes an anthology series. I'd say it even becomes more popular than it is now, more successful. So we'll have to see there, of course. But for now, we know that this season will be the last season, or the only season of this story taking place with these actors, with these characters, right? So yeah, that'll be very, very interesting there to see what will happen. So now I just wanted to touch on a little bit of the ratings here so far. So far for the ratings, episode 1 was a big hit, right? And I think I shared that in episode 2, where I said, I had an article there about, the ratings for it, and they actually, I think they beat out 4 other shows combined that were premiering Sunday night or something like that. So really great. So episode 1 had 3.34 million views. These are all live viewers, by the way. This isn't, all of them combined. Episode 2 then went down quite a bit. It had 1.39 million viewers. Episode 3 had 1.11 million viewers. Okay, so we're going down. Episode 4, though, had 1.17 million viewers. So it went up a little bit, and I would probably attribute that to the... I don't want to spoil here, so let's just say a character death. I would probably attribute that a little raise in the viewership. So, I mean, keep in mind, though, that the whole series is on AMC Premiere, and that many people have watched it there, and these numbers don't account for that, right? So that's not adding in those numbers from AMC Premiere, which obviously will increase these numbers. They can only go up, right? So yeah, I mean, do I think that they deserve a lot more views? Yes. I think that, this show, it should be a show that's getting, anywhere between, 3 and 5, I would say is a reasonable level. But by the looks of it, they're at maybe 1 now. 1-ish, 1 million. So maybe 1.5 million, right? So, yeah, very interesting to see. Like I said, I think AMC Premiere, the episodes being on their streaming, I think that plays a big part in this, because I think people are going to be, they're not going to have the patience to wait, 10 weeks to see this on AMC. So they're going to, find whatever way possible to, get these episodes and watch them, even if they don't have AMC Premiere, which is the unfortunate reality of TV today, of course, is, people watching all sorts of, streams online. But anyways, yeah, so I just wanted to share those, and kind of, think what you want to think about those. I think they are definitely better than that, but so far that's kind of what they are as of now. That's what we know, right? We don't know any numbers from AMC Premiere yet. So anyways, that'll just about do it then for the main discussion, and now I'll move on to my next segment. Alright, so now it's time for something I like and something I don't like from this week in television. This week I have another two things that I like. Nothing negative this week, actually. So that's, take that as you may. But anyways, so the first thing I like from this week of television, something I like, is Aaron Paul reprising Jesse Pinkman. Fans sure think so after this Instagram clue. So this article comes from Esquire, and that's kind of how I'm going to do things going forward, I think, is based on articles and based on stories. That's how I'm going to do this something I like and something I don't like segment, rather than, just kind of sharing, my opinion on something that has happened. I think I'm going to, stick to an article and then share my opinion from that article of sort of what has happened, or at least like a story, right? Article or story that's, kind of coming out. So anyways, this came out this week. This is like crazy news. So basically, I'll read the article, but the main summary of it is Aaron Paul, of course, he played Jesse Pinkman in Breaking Bad. Aaron Paul posted an Instagram photo of him at AMC Network Studios, right? Or that he was at least, in the building of AMC. What does this mean, right? What does this mean? And a lot of people, of course, like the article says, think that this means that he's going to be on Better Call Saul this season, which would be crazy. That's an amazing thing. So anyways, so I'll just read like the main details of the article. Of course, I'll have this in the description if you want to read it for yourself. Paul in the past has said that he is open to the idea of bringing back the iconic role, saying in a 2016 interview with Variety, "I'm not going to say anything more, but I'm absolutely open to the idea. Hopefully it happens. I'm all about it. If I were to be involved, I can promise that it would be done in the most beautiful way, because there's no way they're going to bring back Jesse Pinkman to just bring him back," right? And I totally agree. That's Aaron Paul's words. I totally agree with that. Vince Gilligan and Peter Gould, they're not just going to bring the character back, to be in a episode for 5 minutes. No, I think they're going to do it, and they're going to do it well, if they decide to do it. And it looks like they are. Like, that's the thing about this. It looks like they are bringing it back, which is, like, awesome. And it actually makes sense, too, because Better Call Saul has been pushed to September now, or August. So, like, this is totally possible. So, I'm really excited for this. And then the article goes on, now another clue suggests his return might be one step closer with an Instagram post hinting at just that. "Good morning, old friend," he captioned the post of him standing in front of a sign for AMC Network, the home of Breaking Bad spinoff Better Call Saul. If this incredibly unsubtle clue doesn't mean he's making a cameo in the show or cooking up some way, I like the cooking up, some way to reprise Pinkman, the fans losing their minds in the comments are going to be very disappointed. So, of course, this could just be, some joke, kind of a prank, right, by Aaron Paul. He's a really funny guy. So, I mean, this is something that he would do, just kind of get the fans, kind of excited, really for no reason. But it also could mean that he is going to be on Better Call Saul this season. Either way, I'm really excited. I just could not, go without saying this in this episode. Like, I am just floored at this. I'm really, really looking forward to this. And I'm looking forward to the Better Call Saul season 4 now, even more. So this is awesome news. I mean, and I will put I did put the Instagram post up there so you guys can take a look. Also in the article, it's in there as well. And it really is. It's him in front of an AMC network, sign at the building. So what does this mean, right? I mean, yeah, I guess he could be there for like another different new show, but I don't know. I really think that this could be, him going on Better Call Saul. And honestly, I'd take 5 minutes of them. I don't think they do that, but I would honestly take anything to, to kind of see that Jesse Pinkman character again. That would just be awesome, man. That would be awesome. Of course, Breaking Bad's my favorite TV show ever. So I would be just crazy excited for this if it is true. So anyways, I just wanted to let you know about that one. That is something I like. And of course, sometimes these articles, they'll say this and be like, oh well, he said this and this. But this is like actual proof. Like he actually posted this on his Instagram. This wasn't just the article claiming on a rumor. So that's the exciting thing about this too. So anyways, that is something I like. Next, something I like. Again, James McAvoy, Bill Hader in talks for It Chapter 2. I almost read the IT. It Chapter 2, and this is the Variety article. Again, I will have this in the description for you who want, for those of you who want to read it. But basically, I'll just summarize the main details. With Jessica Chastain officially, now I do want to mention this is movie news, of course, and this show is based on television. But I did review it on the channel, and I'm really interested in it as well, with the movie and everything like that. So I was just decided to put it in here anyways. But anyways, so Jessica Chastain officially on board. New Line has now begun to zero in on who will play the rest of the Losers Club, with essentially the main cast of the movie, with James McAvoy and Bill Hader in talks to join the next installment. Sources tell Variety that McAvoy is in talks for the role of Bill, who was played by Jaden Lieber in the first movie, right? I don't think that Jaden Lieberher, maybe. While Hader is in talks for the role of Richie, who was played by Finn Wolfhard in the last film. As previously announced, Chastain will play Beverly. So that's been confirmed. I really like Jessica Chastain as Beverly. I think that's like a perfect thing there. And now she's, been in Jurassic World. She's, been a big name lately in movies, actually. So for her to come on and play Beverly, I think is an awesome, really awesome fit there. And I think Bill Hader is a really good fit for Richie, Finn Wolfhard, from the first movie as well, because he's basically Finn Wolfhard. I mean, only an adult version, and that's exactly what you're looking for, right? In terms of this movie, It Chapter 2, of course, is literally the kids grown up, and then sort of the same story takes place again, only they're adults. So really, really great here. James McAvoy, I'm not sure about him. I'm not sure about him as Bill. I don't really see that. I mean, they kind of resemble each other, but I don't really see that exactly. So I wouldn't mind if someone else comes on for Bill, but I think Bill Hader and Jessica Chastain are perfect for their roles. Bill Hader is really great, so I think he's going to do a really good job. And like I said, Chastain's been a pretty big name in movies lately, so I think she'll be really great as Beverly. But James McAvoy, yeah, I mean, he's in Split. He's had some really good performances. I just don't quite see him as Bill in this movie. I don't know. Maybe that's just me. Maybe, you have a different opinion on that for sure. Share that below. So, anyways, that'll just about do it for the something I like, something I don't like. Now, let's get on to the question and answer segment. And there were no questions this week, asked on the last episode. So, that's okay. I'm totally understanding of that. I mean, I get it that, not every episode is going to get questions, of course. Not, every episode is gonna get that interaction. So I totally understand that, and that's just something that's gonna happen, right? And I get that. So anyways, but for next week, the way you get your questions on is basically just leave a comment on this episode, and it can be about anything. I mean, it can be about the channel, what shows I'm looking forward to, what shows I've seen, what shows I'm going to review, anything about television, right? Anything about television news, the shows that you watch, anything like that, movies, you can ask some stuff about that. So really anything the questions can be about. So I really appreciate, just any question, right? Even if you, just, think of something random, put it down, right? Comment it, and I will answer it next week in episode 5. So that's why I decided to do this, is just, take it from the comment section on this one and then go for next week. So, and I might use questions from like past episodes too. I did that last week if I don't quite have enough. So I'll do that as well. But anyways, yeah, I really appreciate if I got some, questions on this one. And then next week for sure, I'll go through and answer each of them, in length, right? I like to spend, a couple minutes on each one, sharing my thoughts. So anyways, guys, that'll just about do it for this week's Let's Talk Television. Thank you so much for watching this episode. Like I said at the beginning, I'm really enjoying making these. I'm really having a lot of fun each week with coming up with the ideas and and the actual discussion and everything. So yeah, I really, really appreciate that, and I really appreciate the support on this series and the channel recently. It's been awesome. So yeah, for sure, get your questions in the comment section in this one for next week, and thank you so much for watching this one once again, and I will see you next week for episode 5 of Let's Talk Television. See you then.